Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, traders, all you wonderful money masters, treasure hunters. Welcome. I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, and thanks so much for joining me. For all you folks listening on the West Coast, thanks for doing that. We really do appreciate it. If you are catching us on the East Coast in New Hampshire, catching the archive, thanks so much for doing it. I think you guys are getting a little snow up there. There's snow. It looks like they got socked in the Denver area. We know that from some of the calls we had from the Tigers yesterday. And folks, just be safe. This is a weekend where lots of traveling, lots of partying, lots of joyous festivities, I should say. And just be careful. Please be careful out there. And, we'll look forward to seeing you on Tuesday morning. For those of you that are traveling, be very, very safe. Now, today's going to be a little bit unusual. Of course, every day is unusual around here. You never know what it is that we're going to do. But and Merry Christmas to everybody out there. And for every other Wednesday, for my clients, I do a 1-hour live webcast during the market. And what we do is we take a look at a number of different things. Some are the lunar aspects that are out there, or the planetary aspects and how they align and whether or not they give us a trading edge. Some of it's just educational. We might take a look at Gartley or butterfly patterns. And we do this each Wednesday. Now, about, a significant portion of my clients, they work or they're doing other things, or they know that they can catch the archive of the webcast, and it's always available on their webpage. So, unfortunately, this past Wednesday, something happened to the audio recording, as chance would have it. I talk about how, it's important to be able to put yourself in a good, positive state because the universe is going to throw you curveballs. Well, last night I learned that the universe threw me a curveball because the audio portion of this past Wednesday's webcast was just simply gone. And, we know we saw it there originally, and I certainly know that I was speaking, and those folks that attended know that I was speaking as well. And with it being, the date, Friday, everybody is gearing up to get out of here for Christmas Eve. There's just really there was no way for me to be able to retape it. So when I woke up this morning, I said, I know what I can do. I can do a good portion of it, or the majority of it right now. So you're going to get the benefit of what my subscribers would normally get. It's included with my service. And the aspect that you won't see is they provide me with a list of questions and things to be able to cover on specific charts. That I probably won't do that aspect here. But you know how I say each day I'm going to teach you something or you're going to learn something? Well, you're absolutely going to see that happening. And it's good. We've got the markets are relatively flat out here. So let's go ahead and get right to it here. And we'll start with the presentation for my clients. You'll get a kick out of some of this stuff and you'll learn it. This is one of my favorite pictures that I've put together. This, in essence, shows all the different kinds of markets that we trade out there, whether it's a bullish market, meaning the market's going to be going up, or it's a bearish market. And sometimes it's just a poker game. It's just a standoff between the bulls and the bears. And many times it is a roller coaster ride, a lot of volatility like we have had. And those are really great markets. Why, folks? Because you can make lots of cash, lots of cash. One of my clients had sent me a number of great pictures, great images, with all these different full moon shots. So this is one of my favorite pictures. Now, what we have coming in on Saturday is a new moon, but I do love this. Full moon imagery. This is really great, creative stuff that was done out there. I actually like this one, I think, the best, with the two kids actually having their hands around the full moon. Very, very cool thing. Now, I do this again every other week, and so this was the on Wednesday, the 21st here. We do it always at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what we were taking a look at primarily from a lunar standpoint was the new moon that is coming in on Saturday. This is the schedule for the first 5 months of the year. So it says January 14th. It actually should be January. I don't know why it does. Oh, January 4th is not in there. It's January 4th. I got to go back and take a look at my numbering system. But anyways, it's every other Wednesday. And the next one, folks, is going to be January 4th for all of my clients. Now, one of the things that we do is we take a look at the New American Ephemeris. Now, this is a tool that I really recommend that each person purchase. And the company that produces it or publishes it is called Starcrafts Publishing. The number is right over here on the left-hand side. Hopefully you can see it at 603-734-4300. I don't get any kickback or anything from these folks, but it is a great way. This is broken down on a page. This is just the upper portion, or 2/3 of the portion. And what you've got here is really all of the moon phenomena, so that you can easily identify when the moon is void of course, when it's a full moon, a new moon, solar, lunar eclipses, all of the moon aspect data that you would want to take a look at and you would like to know. Why? Look, folks, I am not an astrologist. I'm not an astronomer. I couldn't go on to Jeopardy and pass the test, at all. That's just not what I'm into. What I am into is always trying to find an edge. Finding an edge in trading is, that gives you a high probability. To me, that's really what it's all about. And it's an edge that works consistently. Because what I do know about any game that I've ever played, the money game, a business game, I've started numerous businesses. They've all been very successful. And I use the same formula over and over again. I do that in the money game that we play, what I call the money game, if you will. Which I take really seriously, because when my client's money is on the line, there's nothing more serious for me than that. And so what I like to do is I like to find edges, if you will. I'm not an edgy person, but I certainly do like to find competitive edges. You know why? Long time ago, I coined the phrase, a competitive edge is a good thing to have. And so in any business that I run, I always look for a competitive edge over somebody else. And what's really great is when you focus on being able to find that competitive edge, folks, and then you really hone that in, you really massage that, you really polish that, you would be amazed at the different levels that you're able to get to. Folks are always amazed. I've gone in and I've taken out competitors that were way bigger than I, done things, and I'm talking competitors like Kodak. I was able to dethrone Kodak in some of the business sectors. Now, I did it in a very nice way. We became friends, the folks that I work with there, partners in business and so forth, but I was able to de-seat them. I was just a small business entrepreneur. So it can be done. You always want to find a competitive edge. And I believe that when you understand, if NASA shoots off this space shuttle, of course we don't have the space shuttle program anymore, at specific times, NASA is using, the universe is using planetary alignments, when to take off, when to land, and so forth. And there's so many other elements out there that we don't even realize that impact us with regard to planetary alignments. How about just simply the use of cell phones and other technology? In any event, what I do is I just take a look at stuff pragmatically. This portion here is the bottom portion of the ephemeris. This is called the daily aspectarian. And each day, this is broken down. This is not for this current month. I don't even know what month this is for, but you can see by each day it's broken down with regard to different planetary alignments. And that is helpful from my standpoint, because I've got all this digital information. I can easily apply it to any chart, whether it's a commodity chart, whether it's a ETF, doesn't matter what it is, just to see if there is a competitive edge that's out there. So that's why I suggest that everybody, you'll get a better feel for it, I think, as we go through this process here. Now, when I take a look at the lunar phases, there are these 5 primary lunar phases. One of the things that you'll see on one of the charts I'm going to provide to you during our show today is where I have primarily been taking the full moon, new moon, apogee, and perigee, and the first quarter, third quarter moons, because they have been lining up showing short-term or longer-term changes in the market. And this is important. You're going to want to see this because you're going to see the benefit of using this for your trading. Why do you want to know this? Well, because we're coming into a new moon phase coming this Saturday. And you will find that the market typically makes a turn and when it falls on a weekend, it could be either on the Friday or the Monday. In this case here, it could be the Tuesday, if you will. So these are the different lunar phases that are out there. Those are part of the ephemeris, and they're very helpful to be able to place over some of the items that you trade. If you trade commodities, you absolutely need to know this stuff. You absolutely need to be able to have this in place over your gold charts or your oil charts, because it is so very helpful. Now, what I focus on, there are certain planetary angles. We talk about the 618, 786, 382 retracements and the 1.272, 1.618 expansions. Those are some sacred geometry numbers. Well, there's also sacred angles, if you will, with regard to planetary angles that we take a look at. And there are these 5. Now, this happens to be showing just simply the Venus-Uranus symbols, if you will. Disregard the top portion. What I want to show you is there's really these 5 areas where the planetary alignments are either square, meaning they're at 90 degrees to each other. They're at opposition, which would obviously be opposite, 180 degrees. At trine, which is at 120 degrees. Sextile, 60 degrees. And conjunction all the way back here, meeting at 0. And those are the 5 major aspects that are contained within the aspectarian. There are also minor aspects within this, and those we don't pay attention to because they don't have as much of a impact, if you will, as the major angles. Just like we take a look at, again, the 382, 618, 786, 1.272s. When it comes to planetary alignments, these are the ones that you want to pay attention to. And they're easy to identify once you have a reference key inside your ephemeris, if you will. Now, so what do we have coming up here in December? Well, the December lunar dates, remember I told you there's 6 that I've been tracking, and you'll see that on my chart. Well, the 6 that I've been tracking here, again, are the new moon, full moon, first quarter, third quarter, and perigee and apogee. Well, December 22nd, that was when? Yesterday. And December 22nd, we had the moon at perigee. December 24th, we've got a new moon. And then coming up January 1st and January 2nd, so a Sunday and a Monday, another first quarter and apogee. And you'll see the impact of these aspects, these lunar phases, if you will, on the S&P chart that I'm going to show here in a moment. So those are the December lunar dates. Here is the cutout of the lunar phases as they apply to the spies. Okay, so I've done it just simply on the spies. Now, the third quarter moon came in on the actual 18th. That was on a Sunday. So we didn't know if it was going to be on this date that we had the low, which was the Friday session. It turned out to actually be Monday's session. And that is what started, folks. That is what started the Santa Claus rally that we've got underway here. And when you take a look at this, here was the last full moon. My clients and I, we went short. Here's a first quarter moon. Look at this new moon. Look at this perigee. You can see you've got these kind of back to back, giving you some real energy, folks. And I hope you have energy as well. So when we come back, we're going to continue on with this. As far as the markets are relatively flat, we'll be right back, folks.
Yeah, it's always better when we're together.
X-Story Gold Mines, an NYSE Amex-listed company trading under the symbol XG, is slated to be the newest gold-silver producer in Argentina. X-Story is forecast to produce more than $250 million in bullion annually, beginning in 2013, at a cash cost of less than $200 for each ounce of gold produced. That forecast will make X-Story one of the highest margin operators in South America and a sector leader in the mining industry. X-Story has $50 million in its treasury, having spent over $60 million to date on drilling and engineering. The ultimate size of its Argentina discovery could be determined by year-end, as results from the 6 drills operating at the site are fully assessed. To find out more about X-Story Gold Mines and their exciting growth potential, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE Amex under the symbol XG.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
In 1929, Joe Kennedy had $4 million. By 1932, he grew it into $180 million. All this during the Great Depression. The good thing about economic difficult times is that the worst economy can produce the best rewards in the shortest period of time. In fact, during the last 130 years, 61% of that time period has been spent in recession. How would you like the strategies that Kennedy's and others use that are bulletproof against the turmoil of our economy in these fast-changing times? For the last quarter of a century, I've studied and used the secrets used by millionaires and billionaires. These are bulletproof strategies that will astonish you. I'd love to introduce you to these concepts because they will absolutely change your life. I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of The Money Masters with Tom O'Brien and host of The Trader's Edge, both seen daily at TFNN.com. If you're even a little bit interested in accumulating wealth, providing a better life for you and your family, then send me an email at steve@tfnn.com and I'll send you this free report, Pathways to Wealth. That's Steve at TFNN.com, giving you Pathways to Wealth.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
Give the gift of silver. This holiday season, TFNN and Great Panther Silver want to give you the gift of silver. From now until December 30th, TFNN will hold a drawing once a day, 5 days a week, business days only, and one lucky entrant will receive one of these beautiful coins that we will mail to whomever you desire. Winning one of these extraordinary coins could not be easier. There's no contest and no gimmicks, just a simple drawing, allowing you to give the gift of silver this holiday season. Go to the front page of TFNN.com for details. This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Don't forget, you can test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
It's always better when we're together. Yeah, we'll look at them stars when we're together. Well, it's always better when we're together. Yeah, it's always better when we're together.
Welcome back, folks. 877-927-6648. Hope you have just simply a great 3-day holiday weekend, or maybe you're even off right now, like probably most folks actually are off. And today is a little bit of a special presentation, if you will, because I do a webcast for my clients every other week. We take a look at different lunar aspects. We take a look at different planetary aspects, other patterns out there. I to provide education, Q&A. It's all done live from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this one we did this past Wednesday. We lost the audio on that, and it was important for me. There was no way for me to find to be able to really carve out the time because of all the production work that we do here and retape something to get out, which would be on in each of my clients' members pages, if you will, so that they can always watch the archive. So this now is going to be archived, if you will, and you'll be able to get the benefit. You also get a little bit of a feel for what it is that I do every other week with my clients. So where we left off here was taking a look at the lunar phases, the 6 lunar phases that we are taking a look at that are having impacts on the markets and showing turns. This is important for you to understand because this coming Saturday, we have a new moon that is coming in, and the new moons and the full moons have really acted really well as triggers. And what I was saying, folks, is look, I don't know how any of this stuff works. I just know that it does. I know you need to be aware of it. I know there's not a captain that's on the sea that is not acutely aware of where the stars are and alignments in order to be able to get to where they've come from to where they're going. And it should be no different for you or me with regard to understanding how it impacts the markets, because it absolutely does. And you should be aware of these things as they're coming in the future and watch how the markets respond. Now, what I am now going to be showing you is just this cute little picture here, if you will, of Venus and Uranus. And the reason why is because we've got a couple of Venus-Uranus, or Venus-Uranus aspect that you want to be paying attention to. And first, before we do that, what's important to understand is that it takes 225 days. You know, we talk about the 618s, the 786s, and so forth. This is very, very cool. And that it takes 225 days for, Venus to complete its synodic period with Uranus. If you take 225 divided by 365, folks, what's cool is you get 0.618. So these are the 0.618 planets, if you will, and it takes Venus 233 days to make that same trip around Jupiter, which if you divide 233 by 365, you get 0.64. That's close enough for me in my work. And so you want to understand when these major planetary alignments take place, and also how I use this, just so you understand. The best way to use these lunar or planetary alignments is to be used as a trigger. And when I say a trigger is when these things line up and you're coming into either a swing point that you've had a test and a failure, if you will, on price and volume, or you're simply doing a retracement, maybe back to a 0.618 or a 0.786 area, then this can be the fuse, if you will, that sets off the market reversing, changing directions. And and so that's why it is so important for you to be able to take a look at that. Al, just make sure that there's sound. Someone indicating that that there's not. So if you would just check on that, please. Now let's go to the next. Let's go to okay. Thanks. So now, with regard to the December major astro events that we have going on here, what you really want to be paying attention to here is what I was talking about, which was on Wednesday we had a Venus square Jupiter, and on Wednesday we also had a Venus sextile Uranus, if you will. And so those, we do have two major planetary alignments. Now these things aren't going to occur to the day. So you have a window, if you will, and I take a look at a 3-day window on both sides. And when we take a look at that, what am I really talking about? Well, I've gone back. Remember, I have all this stuff digitized. And so I've gone back, and here is the last 108. 108 where we've had Venus, Uranus, major alignments going on, whether it's been conjunction, whether it's been square, opposition, sextile, trine. If you're just tuning in and these terms are familiar to you, go back and take a look at the archive of the show. These are the primary angles that we look at. And what you can see is that 39% of the time when that aspect has occurred, and I'm going to take a dive down even a little bit further for you, you've seen market highs. 44% of the time, you've seen lows. So what we're talking about is 83% of the time when this aspect has occurred, it's identified a market high or a market low. How would you like to understand that you've got a high or low occurring 83% of the time in your trading? I'm hoping that you would like that. 877-927-6648. Of course, I still have a little bit more of this presentation. We'll come back. We'll see how the market's going to open. Right now, you got the ES Mini up about 4, Dow up about 30, NASDAQ up 6. We'll be right back, folks.
Well, it's always better when we're together. Yeah, it's always better when we're together.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. If you want to get great trade setups in equity as well as the option market, come over to TFNN.com and test drive my daily newsletter, Market Insights, for 2 weeks absolutely free. Each trade setup comes with a profit projection as well as stock placement. Included in Market Insights is a Twitter alert service. This allows you to take advantage of intraday setups. Volatility is back in the markets. What does that mean to you? To me, it spells short-term opportunity each and every day. The days of trending up on lighter volume are gone. We have come off the highs with volume across the globe. Don't get caught in a complacency trap. Many of the indices have given back 2 months of trading in 1 week. We have a trader's market. You can take advantage of this trader's market by test driving my daily newsletter, Market Insights, free for 2 weeks. Market Insights will give you the edge you're looking for in the markets. Go to TFNN.com, under newsletter, hit the Market Insight tab for your 2-week free test drive right here, right now.
Homeowners, did you know a burglar could break into your home and get away in just 5 minutes? A locked door may not be enough to keep a thief out of your home. Think about what you can lose, and then think about this. Now you can get a free security system monitored by ADT, the leader in home security. Pick up your phone now and get free hardware, free medical and fire alert, and free activation. It's an $850 value. Just call Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, at 1-800-949-8207. You'll get 24-hour protection, and there's no cost for parts or activation. So call now about a free security system monitored by ADT. Call 1-800-949-8207. $99 installation charge. 36-month monitoring agreement at $35.99 a month. Call for terms and conditions to this offer and protect your home license numbers. Call now. 1-800-949-8207. That's 1-800-949-8207.
Did you know that the price of gold is up over 24% this year, while the GDX, the Market Vectors Gold Miners ETF, is actually down 1.4% this year? Not all gold stocks are created equal, and not all gold stocks move with the price of gold. In October, Tom O'Brien recommended a buy of FCX in his gold report, and only 6 trading days later advised his clients to close the position, profiting almost 22% in this one trade. During the same 6 trading days, the price of gold was barely up 5%. Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, gives investors the inside edge they need to profit in this gold market. Each Monday morning, Tom issues a gold market update at around 9:30 a.m., then issues a full report each Tuesday afternoon. For as low as $75 per month, you can gain access to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. To order your gold report with a free 30-day trial subscription, log on to tfnn.com today or call 877-518-9190.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportion of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower your volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Smith Barney financial advisor can do for you. Call Angelo O'Brien, financial advisor and certified financial planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
It's always better when we're together. Yeah, we'll look at them stars when we're together. Well, it's always better when we're together. Yeah, it's always better when we're together.
Off to the races. You've got the Dow up about 27 points. S&P's up 3. Composite up 6. Small caps up about 1.5 points. NDX up 6. If you take a quick spin around the world, the DAX just went negative, down 4 points. The FTSE trading up 55 points. Shanghai actually traded up last night. How about that? Eureka. That was up 19 points. You had the Hang Seng up 250 and the Nikkei down 64. King dollar pretty much flat, down 0.001. I would have to say that is flat, isn't it, folks? And you got light sweet crude up 32 cents. Gold contract is down a couple of bucks. Silver trading up 28 cents. Platinum up $8 as well. So let's, what we're doing today here, just simply because we had an audio issue for the webcast that I do for my clients every other week. We're going to get right back to that because this was the only way for me to be able to get out to them what normally is archived that is on their members page. So you're getting a little bit of a feel for some of what we take a look at here, both lunar-wise, both astro-planetary-wise, and the planet aspects that occurred on this past Wednesday was a Venus sextile Uranus. And what's important is I go back. See, I don't understand how these work. I don't need to. What I do is I just simply go back and apply when these planets align and drop them in on my charts and see if there is a competitive edge. Because, folks, a competitive edge is a wonderful thing to have, and you want to make sure you have it in your trading and in your life, quite frankly. And so this aspect, 83% of the time, has indicated either a market high or a market low. Okay, so how do you use that data? Well, use that data because here's the detail work that I've done. The detail work that I've done, up in the top section here are the 108 different times that this has occurred. I've gone back and taken a look at it on the charts. I'm not going to show you all those charts. That would just simply take too long here. But what I've done is I've gone back and plotted each of those 5 major planetary alignments, and have provided the results right here. You can see them. And what I have done is you can see on the actual date on the actual date, that it has provided a market turn 47% of the time, has been the trigger, if you will, the fuse. Now, what I've done is you can see 42 times, and this was from the summary page we had highs that were being made, and lows were being made 48% of the time. So this second section here is the distribution of highs. And the distribution from a daily standpoint, 0 is X marks the spot. It happened on that day, which would have been Wednesday. -1, and these are not calendar days. These are trading session days, if you will. And so what you can see here is that if we take a look at where an actual high occurred, because obviously the market's moving up, so we won't pay attention to the lows here, right? We know that the market's moved up since Wednesday. We can take a look at Venus sextile Uranus 15 times out of the 42, 15 out of the 42. So that's the most with regard to the market moving up. Sextile, trine, and conjunctions have a valency, a positive expectancy, a positive valency, where the square and oppositions typically would have a negative one. So here, you've already got what normally would be positive, where you've got Venus sextile Uranus moving up, the market moving up, and you can see that 15 out of the 42 times, that has identified a high. Now, then you take a look, and it has occurred typically on the day that it landed. Well, we know that hasn't occurred because the last 2 days have been up. Thursday was up. Today's already up. You're up 35 points in the Dow. You're up 4 points in the S&P. And you take this out going out, of the 15 times, 7 of them landed that day. And you can see that post 1 day, post 2 trading session days, that it still has worked. And we're in that post 2 day period right now. Obviously, the third day would be on Tuesday. But folks, you want to absolutely understand this stuff because it has an impact on your trading. And when we get back, we'll continue on with this. 877-927-6648. Love being here with you. Merry Christmas to you. We'll be right back.
Give the gift of silver. This holiday season, TFNN and Great Panther Silver want to give you the gift of silver. From now until December 30th, TFNN will hold a drawing once a day, 5 days a week, business days only, and one lucky entrant will receive one of these beautiful coins that we will mail to whomever you desire. Winning one of these extraordinary coins could not be easier. There's no contest and no gimmicks, just a simple drawing, allowing you to give the gift of silver this holiday season. Go to the front page of TFNN.com for details.
In 1929, Joe Kennedy had $4 million. By 1932, he grew it into $180 million. All this during the Great Depression. The good thing about economic difficult times is that the worst economy can produce the best rewards in the shortest period of time. In fact, during the last 130 years, 61% of that time period has been spent in recession. How would you like the strategies that Kennedy's and others use that are bulletproof against the turmoil of our economy in these fast-changing times? For the last quarter of a century, I've studied and used the secrets used by millionaires and billionaires. These are bulletproof strategies that will astonish you. I'd love to introduce you to these concepts because they will absolutely change your life. I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of The Money Masters with Tom O'Brien and host of The Trader's Edge, both seen daily at TFNN.com. If you're even a little bit interested in accumulating wealth, providing a better life for you and your family, then send me an email at steve@tfnn.com and I'll send you this free report, Pathways to Wealth. That's steve@tfnn.com, giving you Pathways to Wealth.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we pay you more for converting your jewelry to cash.
Let's go to Brian in New Jersey. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, I just want to let you know I did give you some jewelry. My jeweler offered me about $650. I should get a check in the mail tomorrow for about $1,200.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, it's all about honesty when converting your jewelry to cash.
Okay, let's go to Paul in Florida first. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
I want to commend you on the Tiger Metal Exchange. I just did a deal with you guys the other day.
Oh, good.
I'm very happy.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, Did you sell us jewelry or did you buy coins off us?
Yeah, I sold you jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What we weighted at was less than you guys said, so, you're totally honest.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we give you the tools to value your gold, and it's absolutely free. Call 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. We've created the easiest, safest, and most honest cash for gold process. Tiger Metal Exchange. It's the only call you need to make.
Here's what people are saying about Tiger TV.
Let's go to John in Tampa. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You having a good day out there?
A wonderful day. I love your Tiger TV. I watch it every day. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, man, I appreciate you out there watching it. How long have you been watching the Tiger TV?
I'm watching almost a month now, and it's wonderful.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's cool. You see the charts and everything. Thanks so much for the hard work.
Tiger TV, a great news service from TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by South American Silver Corporation. For more information, just click the South American Silver Corporation banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
It's always better when we're together. Yeah, we'll look at them stars when we're together. Well, it's always better when we're together. Yeah, it's always better when we're together.
Welcome back, folks. 877-927-6648. Dow's up 10, S&P's up 1, and this is a little bit of a special segment because of a problem we had with the audio of the private webcast I do for my clients every other Wednesday, and this was the quickest way for us to be able to get that done, and we had even another technical difficulty this morning. You gotta love those curveballs, folks. So we're talking about the Venus, Uranus major aspects. I've gone back, taken a look at the last 108. Here's what I do want to show you. The next one that's coming up is February 10th, 2012. If I were you, I'd mark this on my calendar. Now, what you'll see here are all the dates. If you want to go back and drop this in and do some of your own testing on any of the charts that you trade, or maybe you're listening to this and you're saying, you know, geez, this guy's making sense. He does all the detail work for you, and that's a reason why you'd want to become one of my clients, because I can save you a ton of time and make you a lot of money because of all the detail work that we do. So give that a thought. You can always go over to click on my name on the homepage of TFNN. It'll take you right to Mastering Probabilities. You can try it for free for 30 days, unconditional money-back guarantee there. Here are the dates from 2008 through 2010. And again, I believe on Tiger TV, if you're watching the archive, you can go ahead and you can stop so you can write those dates down, if you will. Here are the dates from 2005 through 2007. Here are the dates that you have from 2002 to 2004. And so those are the dates. Now here, folks, this is a distribution. This is my work over 300 years. So from 1800 to 2100, breaking down. Remember when we were taking a look at that aspectarian that shows all of the planetary alignments, both major and minor, that occur each day. Well, what I've done is I've summed up each of those days, which we're talking about 109,939 days out there worth of data, and have identified how often we had zero dates line up. Now, I've got 4 different quadrants here. I've got ET, stands for ephemeris time. Original, meaning the original work that Dr. Ruth Miller and Larry Pesavento did when they were taking a look at their aspectarian. There were certain planets that were not included in there that are going to be in the new American ephemeris that you have. EST stands for Eastern Standard Time. Because I have everything digitized, I can go back. Ephemeris time and Eastern Standard Time are off by about 4 or 5 hours, depending on whether or not we are in daylight savings time or not. I then have ephemeris time here. That's what this column is, with all of the current planetary aspects that are in there. And the yellow highlighted areas are really the areas where you have the anomalies, when you want to be able to be paying attention to those days when things line up. And so you know that you've heard me talk about, and I've also provided a study to folks. If you don't have that study, you can also send me an email at stfnn.com. But in this case here, because there's a couple different reports that I have going out, you'd want to make sure you put in the 1939 study, because on October 27th, we had a 17 planetary index date. That's right down here on this line. What you can see is 35 of them over a 300-year period of time. The one that occurred here, and I'm going back to 1800, the one that occurred here was number 20. That happens 0.03% of the time when you have that type of planetary energy and alignment. That's why that October 27th area is so high, and you want to understand that 1939 chart. Why? Because that is where we have a Christmas rally that was very dismal. No different than this. Have we had a little bit of a rally? Absolutely, but very dismal, if you will. Only the last 4 days. If you also you want to understand that it was 1939, it was a pre-election year. So if you don't have that chart, send me an email, steve@tfnn.com. You absolutely need to have that. So here's the work that I've done for my subscribers, and so I know when these dates are occurring and, in the future, and this is important. That's important work that you would want to know. This was really all of December, so by day I know when we have either how many aspects for the ephemeris time under the new, whether it's the old, the original work that Larry and Dr. Ruth had done, Eastern Standard Time as well. What I also have here, again, this is just the somebody had asked me to lay over the Bradley dates over the S&P that I did here. The last Bradley date that we had, I believe, was, or in 2012. I'm looking at the major ones because we do have another major Bradley date coming in next week. I believe it is on Tuesday, the 28th. There was a Bradley turn date on February 1st. That happened to line up with this full moon and new moon at perigee right there, which we did see a market move there. If we take a look at the other Bradley date, the other major Bradley date that occurred in 2011, that was right here in July. You can see that was mid-stroke here, so it's certainly, these Bradley dates are not going to be right on the mark, just as the Venus-Uranus is not necessarily going to be right on the mark. But I've done the work to know that they do have an impact on your trading, and you need to be aware of it. And when you have that lining up with new moons and other aspects out there, and price and volume and failures at swing points, folks, you want to understand that. Then the expectancy table, and we touched on this yesterday, and this is, and I saw some of the light bulbs actually going off from emails that I received from listeners or from clients, and the importance of understanding the expectancy table. If you're going to spend any time at all this weekend doing anything, or for the rest of the next couple of weeks, taking a look at your trades that you put on for the last year, this is something you want to build for yourself. You want to have this. You want to have this forever if you are trading in the markets. Why? Because, look, you have an expectancy in life. This weekend, you're going to have all kinds of expectancies. Family expectancies, present expectancies, responses that you expect from somebody else because of a gift that you gave them. Don't buy into any of that stuff, What you do want is, don't let that get you down or what have you. You do want to have a positive expectancy on anything that you do, and there are tricks and there are ways to do it. But in this case here, you want to have a trading system where you know that when you place trades, you have a positive outcome. That's what this table does show. We talked about this in the past. We'll talk about it in the future. I'm going to break this part of it down for you right now. That's really what this was. This is where I guess the light bulb really started to go off in people's minds. And it's really breaking your trades down into three areas: winning, controllable loss, uncontrollable loss. Controllable loss is where you risk 1,000 or you risk 1% and you lose 1%. I have a spreadsheet. I keep my trades in the spreadsheet, and what you need to know is you need to know your entry point. You need to know your stop. This is a beautiful thing, folks, because if you don't use stops, having this will force you to use stops, and you need to have stops. You need your entry, your stop, and your exit. Then you can determine what your share risk was. Your share risk is nothing more than where you entered and your stop, that difference. Your share profit, where you exited and where you entered. And then from there, you can determine your reward to risk factor. When we come back, we'll finish that up, and it's absolutely been a pleasure to be here with you. We'll be back in just a few minutes, folks.
It's better when we're together. Yeah, it's always better when we're together.
As Tom says, go long America. Now you can join TFNN and Barnes & Noble to keep money in your community. Purchase Tom's best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, your ultimate trading mastery system, before December 31st from your local Barnes & Noble store. And you will be given access to not just one, but two exceptional archived courses: Tiger Scaling, The Tiger Butterfly, and Gartley. The Art of Timing the Trade is more than just a book. It's an educational journey that will help you understand the Wall Street greed cycle and learn how to recognize profit from genuine price moves. So, for the cost of just under $30, you will receive in excess of $300 in trading education from Tom O'Brien, TFNN, and Barnes & Noble. And you will be helping to support an important local business, your local bookstore. If you do not have a Barnes & Noble in your community, then go to your local bookstore. We'll be sure to work with them to keep your purchase local. So let's support our local businesses, keep money in your community, and get a great education. But be sure to act now, because you have until December 31st to take advantage of this opportunity. Go to the front page of TFNN.com for details.
Would you like to discover the next great tech stock? David White, TFNN's technology guru, has just launched his new newsletter, The Technology Insider. In his newsletter, David will be looking for those shining stars that may turn into the next Apple, Microsoft, or Cisco. David combines his technology background as a software programmer with his market skills as a successful professional trader to give you this unique newsletter. We're on the verge of the next great tech run. With the Technology Insider, you'll be in front of the run-up and not lagging behind. David is developing a long-term investment portfolio, therefore we're only offering the Technology Insider as an annual subscription with a remarkable price of only $395. That's right, for a little over $1 a day, you'll receive the fundamental technology wisdom and technical trading skills of the Technology Insider David White. What are you waiting for? Go to thefrontoftfnn.com, click on the link on the front page, sign up for your 2-week free trial, and become a Technology Insider today.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the Opening Call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his Opening Call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and I very, very strongly support the use of his Opening Call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the Opening Call, a $64 value, visit tfnn.com today.
Great Basin Gold is a mining company engaged in the exploration and development of 2 emerging gold properties in Nevada and South Africa with a total resource base of more than 23 million gold ounces. Great Basin's Burnstone mine in South Africa opened in February of this year with a resource of 20 million gold ounces, becoming the first mine to open in the historic Witwatersrand Basin in the last 30 years. The Burnstone mine is projected to have a 25-year mine life and is fully financed with production anticipated to be over 250,000 ounces per year at a cash cost of only $450 per ounce. The Hollister mine in Nevada became fully integrated in the 4th quarter of 2010 with annual production estimates of 110,000 ounces of gold per year over the 8-year mine life at a cash cost of only $527 per ounce. Great Basin Gold is cash flow positive and trades on the Toronto and New York stock exchanges under the symbol GBG.
Catch Tom O'Brien and Steve Rhodes as they teach you the art of mastering money when it comes to your trading and investing. The Money Masters, next on TFNN.
It's always better when we're together. Yeah, we'll look at them stars when we're together. Well, it's always better when we're together. Yeah, it's always better when we're together.
We are looking at those stars together, folks. Welcome back. Thanks so much for being here. A different show today, not just simply because of holidays, but just the way the universe works. And so let's go ahead and complete this. If you're just tuning in now, go back and listen to the archive of this show. You will absolutely learn a ton, if you will. Now, with regard to understanding the expectancy of your system, here's what you want to do, folks. You want to set up a spreadsheet if you use Excel or use numbers on the Mac, or even if you do this by hand. Absolutely want to do this. You want to break your trades into 3 areas: your closed winning positions, your closed losing positions, where you lost more than you risked. So even if you trade more than 1%, it still doesn't matter. Just simply where you lost more than you risked. And you want to understand, what that was. Again, you just need to understand the entry point. That's going to be easy. You can grab that off of any download that you have through any broker that you've got. Where you exited, well, that's going to be pretty easy. Now you've got to identify, did you use a stop on those trades? And if you didn't, start doing it now, because if you don't use stops, if you don't use this information, how do you know what your system can really produce? How do you know the expectancy of your trading system? Because what you want to do is you want to have this, and because it will help you to be able to take the trades when things line up, when things you're saying, even right now, can the market really turn? There's a valency for the market to go up between now and January, and absolutely you can. I can't control the market. What I can do is I can control the competitive edge that I have, and I can go ahead and take those trades. I know there's going to be a distribution of wins and losses, and what I know is 70% of the time, what I'm getting are wins, and I know that we're making money, and that's what you need to understand about your system. Here I've got the closing positions, really the four positions where we lost more than one. Either our stops got jumped or we went ahead and we adjusted the stop. I can't recall. Either way, you still want to just understand how often do you lose more than what you risk, and you want to understand that part of it. You also want to understand your losing positions with regard to you either lost what you risked or less than. So less than or equal to 1. And so this is an example here. So this is the example. They're all three the same. Just one table is for the winning positions, the other for closed positions greater than 1, and then closed losing positions less than 1%. And what that will do, folks, that will give you the data that you can put in to create your own expectancy table on what it is that you trade. And you want to make sure that you come up with a positive number here. Maybe this could be red in any event, but I think when I pull that in, I lost that. But, you can see in this case here, out of 76 trades, we've had 51% of them were winners. That's 67% of the time. The factor that it gave, let me talk about the factor. The factor that you're going to use, that's going to give you a reward to risk factor or a risk to loss factor. All you're going to do is just simply sum those up, average them out. That's all you need to do is just average the column out. You average this column, you would average this column as well, this one, and that's what you have on the page here. This is the summary page. That are the factors that you have there. So we know that we had 4 trades where we lost more than what we risked, 1%. That's 5% of the time. We know that that was a minus 1.46. And this is going to give you this number. This number will tell you what type of trading system that you have. And then it's just a matter of, if you want to understand how much money that you can make or lose, then, folks, what you're really just understanding is how much capital do you have? You know what your risk is going to be because you're just going to risk 1% of what your capital is. And you know I taught you how to do that. You've got your risk expectancy. You're going to multiply 1,000 times your risk expectancy times the estimated number of trades you're going to have. That's going to tell you what kind of return you have. That way, when you understand the positive expectancy of your trading system, you can then understand, can you generate a 70% return? Can you generate a 40% return? It's all driven by how many trades can you find? How much treasure can you find, folks? So you're going to find all kinds of treasure underneath the Christmas tree. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas to you. It's absolutely been a blast being here. Be safe this holiday weekend. Stay tuned for Tom and I. If not, have a great holiday weekend, and I'll see you Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. sharp, folks. Take care. Bye-bye now.